So I want to take a moment to thank everybody for being at this summit where we're sharing our perspectives on entrepreneurship. I think it's pretty wonderful that we live in an era where we can communicate with one another on two sides of the planet and share our perspectives on entrepreneurship and what we perceive is going to be the future of the world economy. So I wanted to take a moment to thank Daniel Zaretsky, who unfortunately could not be with us, but we were able to view his video, and we thank him for his introduction and for his sponsorship. I'd also like to thank Ilkam Makambayev. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I also appreciate that Marko Rankovic has allowed and shared with us his perspective and will be moderating alongside me. I'm honored to be working with you all. So one of the things that we're doing here at the University of New Mexico is we're trying to connect to parts of the world that will be the future of the world economy. We believe that the diversity and the shared perspectives that we have on these two sides of the planet, they're not so far from one another. And we truly believe that the global agenda in the 21st century is going to be set by people like you students on that side and these wonderful students here. We're very, very honored to hear that. So what I want to do is I want to introduce you to our student panelists and to our community members who come from all over New Mexico and the Albuquerque region. We have here Adriana Stark. She received her master's in business administration and entrepreneurship studies, and she's now a PhD student here at the university studying learning sciences. She's also the project manager for the organization International Business Students Global that has participated and has helped shape this particular summit. Patrick Hibbard is a master's student here. He's graduating in 3 weeks. And he's actually going to be giving the valedictorian speech here at the Anderson School of Management, focusing on international management. He recently traveled to Guatemala to volunteer with a group that performs social entrepreneurship, and he's going to share his perspective today based on that experience. Tori Pryor is our board chair for International Business Students Global. She's pursuing her degree in economics and international management. She's in our UNM student governing body and is also a project manager for our consulting consortium, which provides support to small businesses and entrepreneurs. Ronik Bhatt is originally from India and migrated to the United States in the year 2000 to pursue his educational journey. Growing up, he indicates that money was hard to come by, which is what attracted him to the business world. He's currently completing his bachelor's degree with a concentration in accounting and working on his MBA also. He also manages the consulting consortium for UNM and for IBSM. Kaya Ryan Brown is from the Navajo Nation, originally from Rocky Point, Arizona. He is currently pursuing his master's of accounting degree, finished his bachelor's degree in accounting, and he's the president of the American Indian Business Association and an active member of an honor society made in Alpha Psi, the Sedas Kai chapter. He's also working as a revenue agent at the New Mexico Taxation and Revenue Department, and he's pursuing field forensic accounting. And lastly, we have Sarah Beltran. She's a student at UNM pursuing her bachelor's degree in family studies. Her future is in environmental law, and she believes deeply in environmental sustainability and the protection of the planet. She's also an IBSG member and project manager for our World Culture Program, which deals with the precious nature of land-based agriculture and our natural resources. We also have with us 3 community members, Ricky Quintana, and she's the co-founder of Bridges to Tajikistan. We thank her very much for being one of the architects of this summit. She's done tremendous work in connecting the American Chamber of Commerce in Tajikistan with the work that we're doing here at UNM. We're grateful for her being here. We have Ernie Rivera, He's the manager of an organization called the Mixing Bowl, which is a commercial kitchen at the South Valley Economic Development Center here in Albuquerque. And he provides Albuquerque residents support in starting their own food-related business with a facility that serves as a launchpad for those food-based businesses. And lastly, we have Santiago Rojas Cabronen. He's the chief executive officer of a company called Batterade. This is a startup company founded by 2 UNM students. He's developing cutting-edge technology to produce an affordable paper-based biofuel cell for off-grid cell phone charging for ultimate marketing and development. And so now, Marco, I would love to pass it off to you for introduction.
Certainly. I'll let the students and the various participants introduce themselves. I think you know Ilhom at the back there.
So let me introduce myself. I'm Ilhom. I'm the Executive Director for the American Chamber of Commerce. First of all, I want to say thank Manuel, Vicky for making this stuff, these things happen. So what we want from you is just see, how we can develop this relationship with your university. So thank you.
Okay. And next, if you'd like to stand up and introduce yourself.
My name is Shukrona. I've completed my bachelor degree in marketing. Now I'm team leader in ICS Entrepreneur project. It's a British project which is funded by UK government, and I coordinate other volunteers and coordinate the activities to help small and medium businesses to improve their businesses in the way of marketing.
Okay, excellent.
Hi, how you doing, guy? My name is Baudur. I represent my company. I have a company in Tajikistan. My company is bioprofessional. I'm studying here, language center. I have 5 centers in Dushanbe now, and for future I wanted to work into guys to online. For future I open it to courses, online courses in Dushanbe.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is John Girzabirov, and I'm still a student, but about 1 year ago I launched a project, Trip Tajikistan, and and my colleague Tahmina will tell you about after 10 or 15 minutes. Nice to meet you.
Hi guys, my name is Azamat. I'm a colleague of Jahongir and Tahmina. We are representative of project Trip to Tajikistan. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Shahnoza Omarova. I'm a recent graduate. I've got a bachelor degree in International Economics and Trade, and I work on patent and trademark company and a volunteer in the VS organization as well.
Hello, New Mexico. My name is Parvis. I finished the Tajik Technical University, Faculty of Information Technology. Now I've been working in Dushanbe International Airport for 5 years. And also in internship, I am since 2010. That's it.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Mamura Sheralieva. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm Mamura Sheralieva. Yes. Tajik State University. I study in Tajik State University of Commerce. My program is International Economic Relations and Law.
Okay. And we'll just go back one. Yeah, please. Like to jump up.
Hi guys, my name is Oftapon. I'm 21. This year I completed my bachelor degree in international marketing. Now I'm working as my friend Shukrona at the VSO, founded by UK government. I'm one of the local government. We are Tajik, Afghan, and UK volunteers here, and we are working at different places to develop startup businesses.
Excellent.
Hello guys, my name is Sabrina. I'm studied in Tajik State University of Commerce in Faculty of International Economic and Law, and that's why.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Firuza. I'm the 4th year student at Tajik State University of Commerce. I'm planning in the future, after my graduation, continue my magister degree in the USA, maybe.
Okay.
So, hi everyone. My name is Tahmina. I've just graduated from the branch of Moscow State University, and now I'm a manager of Trip to Tajikistan project, which is aimed in order to improve tourism sphere in Tajikistan.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Inomulomir Boboyev, third year student of Tajik State University of Commerce, and recently I am the member of ISEC community, and I have some dreams to become finish MBA.
Excellent.
Hello everyone, my name is Jawad Ahmad. I study at Tajik State University of Commerce, World Economy faculty, and hopefully want to settle in America.
Okay, excellent. Okay, the introductions.
Wonderful. Well, spasiba. I really appreciate you sharing your thoughts with us. I want to make sure we begin with a couple of questions. Make it simple. And one of the questions we asked our students here before we started this summit was to give an example of entrepreneurship of our communities and why it's important to society. And so we'll begin with Adriana.
I'd love to share with you an example of an organization that I was able to work with international business students local. The Cooperative Development Center of New Mexico, also known as CODESE, is a powerful example of how community members can band together to leverage their traditions and create sustainable economic development. This entrepreneurial endeavor empowers the community to join the global economy using ancient systems such as art, agriculture, and ecotourism by working together under a cooperative model. These cooperatives operate in a manner that do not deplete the natural resources or damage the society, but rather they ensure the preservation of the cultural ways of life for future generations.
Patrick?
All right, thank you. The most impactful example of entrepreneurship in Albuquerque that I could think of is the weekly Alibi newspaper. This paper operates independently and it provides a wealth of information, both politically, culturally, and dealing with popular culture. As most of the news organizations in the U.S. and around the world operate as corporate conglomerates, the importance of independent news outlets like the Alibi grows. Since an informed public is essential to true democracy, these entrepreneurial ventures, they provide a high social return on investment as compared to other entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Patrick. Tori?
Thank you, Dr. Renfrea. Entrepreneurship in New Mexico breaks down social barriers. One of our community members, founded a restaurant, Tim's Plate, in 2010, and it is, to date, the only restaurant owned by a man with Down syndrome in the United States. They are known for serving breakfast, lunch, and hugs. And an internet search for the restaurant will turn up a YouTube video with over 2 million views. Tim's Place is able to thrive here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, because our economy values friendship, integrity, and locality. Businesses like Tim's Place are integral to our society because they show us an inclusive, dignified picture of community.
Thank you, Tori. Ronnie.
Entrepreneurship is an ongoing process through every community. A great example in Albuquerque is you have your manufacturers, your distributors, and your resellers. But the flea market is a place where interactions are more personal and not quantified. Places like the flea market play a key role in the community, which enable people to create opportunities for themselves and their society. Similarly, entrepreneurship occupies an irreplaceable role in the global business, serving as a foundation for innovative perspectives. It provides the voice for the community while simultaneously fulfilling its needs. People want a narrative that explains their place in this world, and entrepreneurship offers that.
Thank you very much, Ronak. Hiya, Ryan.
All right. Historically, for Native Americans, entrepreneurship has always existed through trading and bartering with neighboring tribes throughout the Americas. Objects not found in one tribe's surrounding area are often prized possessions from distant land. For example, parrots are utilized by Pueblo Indians for their ceremonies and dances. However, parrots themselves are not native to North America. Medicinal herbs and tinctures, abalone shells, and turtle shells are common goods found by tribes in desert regions. By exchanging local goods, agricultural products, local stones, and handmade textiles, entrepreneurship has been an integral part of Native American lifestyle for centuries. Entrepreneurship is an important business activity because it allows diverse societies to share customs and ideas for continued development for all involved.
Thank you, Kai Ryan. And Sara?
Thank you, Dr. Montoya. New Mexico is a very water-scarce with urbanization requiring more water consumption. It's necessary to look into the way people in rural areas go about using this precious resource. They have knowledge from ancient culture. We're taking entrepreneurial steps into looking into this knowledge by studying their organic lifestyle that has been passed on by many generations. We learn about their resilience. Sustainability in every human resources and natural resources is a key component of what is moving businesses in Albuquerque.
And that was our response to our first question that we had. Marco?
Yes, we've got some interesting examples as well. I think maybe Shaknoza, would you like to start?
Some examples, yeah?
Well, it's a huge topic right now in Tajikistan. The improvement of investment climate and business environment is a priority area in economic policy of Tajikistan government. And just for instance, this year over 30 million Somali, it's about $6 million have been spent, a national budget spent to provide preferential loans for small and medium-sized enterprises. So the last year, about 332 new enterprises have been launched. So for the last 3 years, just a little bit of statistics, just for the last 3 years, the number of new businesses increased up to 60%. So if you think like that, the number is really huge.
Okay, thank you. Oftabi, would you like to talk a little bit about your...
Hi. Yes, the business and entrepreneurship in Tajikistan, it grows very fastly. Now our government, they support new business startups. They making their documents. They making their documents easier to collect their documents and start your new business and become an entrepreneur. In our Tajikistan now develops very fastly. Building entrepreneurs who builds new buildings, and it grows very fastly. So we are happy that our government support us, and because for entrepreneurship, because of entrepreneurship we can grow our GDP, and because of entrepreneurship we can have more employees. Because of entrepreneurship, we can have create demand for products, which in turn create jobs and taxes, and yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody wants
Takmina, being entrepreneurial? Okay, let's hear it.
I think a good example of entrepreneurship in our case is our project, the name of which is Trip to Tajikistan, as I said. I would like to talk about a little bit, if it is possible.
Sure.
we offer the whole spectrum of services for foreign and non-resident guests. For example, our list of services includes hotel booking, rent of apartments and houses for long and short term period, and also car rent with or without a personal driver, visa registration services, and also arrangement of a package of tours in Tajikistan and many other services. For example, you may book a room in any of 30 hotels, including with starting with ordinary and finishing with five-star premium hotels in the larger cities in Tajikistan like Dushanbe, Harok, Khujand, Kulab, and other many cities. And so our aim is to improve, to make tourism sphere in Tajikistan much better than it is now, and to bring it to a whole new level. And also we are ready to make efforts in order to make our guests feel satisfied with their visit to Tajikistan. So,
Excellent. Good example.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to conclude with one more example? No? Okay. Manuel, back to your side.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. Those are wonderful examples. We also asked ourselves, not only what are we doing here in New Mexico, but what is the future of entrepreneurship going to look like for all our community? And so our students prepared some responses regarding that. Adriana?
Montoya, that's a great question and a difficult one to answer. I believe the future of entrepreneurship depends largely on the most pressing issues facing our communities. We see entrepreneurial endeavors alleviating poverty and hunger, providing solutions to issues, protecting human rights, preserving cultures, conserving and protecting our natural resources, and educating future generations. Entrepreneurs are becoming more and more intentional about generating positive social impact in the local and the global community. Women, men, boys, and girls have been and will continue to emerge as entrepreneurs who make meaningful social impact, the face and the heart of business. Thank you.
Thank you. Patrick. Thank you, Dr. Montoya. I agree, this is a great question and a difficult one to answer. It seems to me, though, that the entrepreneurial landscape is headed toward a consolidation of efforts and sharing of resources. Every day, new entrepreneurial ventures are born. I mentioned 300 and some in Tajikistan. But this happens in a closed, finite system of resources. We only have so much resources. And as such, we're reaching a saturation level that increases costs while decreasing demand, which eliminates the profits that are in the marketplace. Such an environment creates new opportunities in differentiation and in consolidation. Former, the differentiation is a popular strategy for the past several decades, so the rise in consolidation is at hand. Strategic alliances that share resources can achieve economies of scale and scope without giving up quality and individuality of the venture, and it increases profitability. We see evidence of this move in new co-working environments, as well as incubators and accelerators. Thank you, Patrick. Tori?
Thank you. This is the future of entrepreneurship. It is no accident that we are all here today, in these rooms, transcending cultural borders and creating meaningful relationships. That is what entrepreneurship will look like in the future. Small and medium enterprises with a concentrated focus on community, crossing cultural and social barriers. Entrepreneurs will not only generate new ideas for services, but new ideas as to what business is like, ways to generate value, and ways to reach the often overlooked bottom of the income.
Yeah, thank you. Ronnie?
Like Adriana mentioned over here, global issues will drive the future of entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurship will present solutions to global issues, Yeah. By adding a social aspect to entrepreneurship, it becomes increasingly viable for the community. Entrepreneurs, they become the agents of change. Traditionally, the perspective was that business exchanges only impacts the buyer and the seller, but the social entrepreneurship adds another party to the transaction, which is the community. And there are many incentives for socially minded businesses to thrive and succeed. And that's what makes social entrepreneurship a powerful force in the future.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Hi, Ryan.
Well, with borders and boundaries established and enforced, entrepreneurship may or may not be effective. On one hand, small businesses are expanding with enhanced access to materials and supplies through the internet. However, on the other hand, agreements between nations may hinder the process of accessing materials helpful or essential to a business. Another factor may be an increase in taxes, which may discourage current and future entrepreneurs from growing. So the outlook on entrepreneurship is very subjective.
A good perspective. Sara.
I see the future of entrepreneurship with an emphasis in social responsibility. Social responsibility will not just be a fad, it will be a standard for business practice. For example, buying fair trade coffee will not only be the trendy thing to do, it will be the only way to be able to get a cup of coffee. We as entrepreneurs will keep in mind the piece of the puzzle that is often left out in business discussion, which is human connection. Human connection, human connection is for keeping everything functioning well. When humans take care of humans while doing business, there's a holistic approach to success in business and as a business and as a and that's it.
And that's what we have by way of our response to that.
So maybe we have some questions, no? I have some questions, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. There's some very thought-provoking
So, Manuel,
topics.
there is some. I mean, as I understand, there are some entrepreneurs over there. So, I mean, is there? I mean, some of the questions which I got personally, especially for the entrepreneurs. I just want to see the type of the thinking of the entrepreneurship in your side, and just to compare with us. I mean, are they? I just want to find out, is the entrepreneurs in your country, I mean in New Mexico, are the same as here, yeah? Because we have some entrepreneurs also here. Just to see some, I don't know, some differences. That's I may assume entrepreneurs more social responsible. I mean, in New Mexico, if you compare to us, I mean, it's just maybe depending from the stage in which level of the entrepreneurship are we. Yeah? So what do you think? I mean, maybe you just give us some feedback. We have some other entrepreneurs to ask you some questions. You may ask us. Huh? So what do you think? Am I clear?
Sure. Maybe we can begin with our community members asking some questions on your side. So, do you have any questions?
I wanted to participate in the question that he asked. Can I intervene in that sense?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
Well, it's good to see you again. I remember when I started. Good to see you. So you mentioned something that is very interesting, how social entrepreneurship comes into companies and into entrepreneurship. And that's one thing that I have faced, that I have had to explain very often with my company, because we're serving a community that is known for not having a lot of resources, which is Africa. The approach that we take in battery in this challenge is not to see and the African people as people without resources, but as people that are real customers that have needs and that we can satisfy those needs with our product. In a responsible way, because we want to be able to provide them the services that they need, powering their cell phones, in an affordable, charging what they're already paying, and with low impact. Because we know that in these regions of the world, sometimes some products arrive and they are not disposed in the right way. So that's the way we in Battery have approached entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship into the real purpose that is satisfying a need of a population.
So clear enough.
I have a question.
Certainly.
So, what is the most profitable and safe variant of investment for your entrepreneurs?
Very good question.
I deal with a lot of entrepreneurs that come to us with food ideas and have dreams of starting a business. But what people need the most is the realization of what it takes to get a business off the ground. So that can mean a whole lot of the regulations and knowing food safety, marketing, the market to sell to. But the biggest thing that people come to us with is their dreams. And as a director of the Mixing Bowl Kitchen, we help develop the dream. So we share the successes of others with a lot of different people throughout New Mexico.
The question on profitability can be a difficult one to answer because it's a moving target. Essentially, what I've seen so far in our entrepreneurial model, and when there's a new space that opens up, right, one of the ones that's very popular right now is in technology and software development and everything that we're using today to communicate across the world. Obviously, that's a space that's fairly new, so it's going to be highly profitable with only a few people operating within that industry. But over time, as new entrants enter into the market, then it becomes less and less profitable, and it becomes saturated. And so the most profitable perspective I think that any entrepreneur can take is not only how to find the new space to operate in, but nowadays, given the limitation of space and the limitation of resources throughout the world, is how to sort of create that space, how to create innovative models that can operate in the old space, but in a new way. Kind of like what Santiago is talking about in meeting a need in a community that most people aren't paying attention to. What he's doing is actually creating the space rather than entering into a space that's already there.
So that brings up a question back to you as well. You know, one of the biggest risks that entrepreneurs have in this country and in most places is the availability of capital to be able to grow your business. So in that regard, could you share with us some of your perspectives on how you view generating enough resources to start your business up?
This is a great question, actually.
Yeah,
so how do you get your startup money to start a business in Tajikistan? How about some of the entrepreneurs here? You need the money to start. Is it hard to get it? Where do you get it from? Does anyone want to comment on this?
Take about my business. 7 years ago, I'm studying in the United States and come back and or open my company here to sending students to study in the United States and start my business. And I'm starting maybe bills very you know.
He had his own money and he's a
But it's a biggest to start up in Tajikistan needed money because in Tajikistan now very 20 years and very open to guys open more company here. My friends studying in the United States coming open here medical center. One is my center. My friends open car wash in Tajikistan, the American with looks in American car wash, and now I sit here and more guys want to open company here and startup guys sit here. My friend's Parviz startupper, and I think so. More NGO, I think so, helping to guys open your grant with the bank system in Tajikistan help to open your companies.
Sure, but what about some other business people? What do the banks charge here for in terms of interests? You guys know? Is it cheap? Yeah, credit. If you borrow money, it's not cheap. Tell them how much you pay here.
Hi. It's a few way to start your business, and I started my first business about 7-8 years ago, and it was a consulting business, and I didn't need money. It was some job. I had money, job and money, and it was a growing. But in my friends' way to make a business, one of them is work for a few years in a big company or a small company in an international organization, make some money, and then open his own business. Second way is to get a credit in a bank, but I don't recommend it because no, that's too cool. It's about 24% minimum in 1 year to get a credit, and you need a lot of documents. Sometimes you need to have people who know you in a bank system, but it's a minimum. Average is about 30-32% in a year, and it's a huge. And the third way, it's the most popular way in Tajikistan. Your parents make a present this money for a business or get credit without a percent. Yeah, I recommend to my friends to start their business from consulting, because it's a huge different ways and spheres to do it, and it's a small companies and
Competition.
it's a small competition in Tajikistan, and you can start and do some money and then to grow. Thank you.
Okay, so there you have it. The colossal cost of borrowing money in Tajikistan is a huge limiting factor here, but they find a way around that.
Yeah, we saw another person with their hand raised there.
Sure.
Question.
Yeah.
Where you see yourself and your business in 10-20 years as an entrepreneur?
So where do you see, where do your entrepreneurs see themselves in 10-20 years as a result of their startups?
Go Santiago.
So something that I hear very often about entrepreneurship is that it's more a way of living, a lifestyle. So once you start making a company, actually, for example, right now I'm working in battery, but I'm already thinking about another idea that I want to start. So what I see myself in 20 years is having started a couple of companies, and of course learning from each one of them and making the next one even better than the one previous. So I see myself in 20 years still doing what I like and taking technology to the market and making the technology not for itself but for the people to use.
Anyone else from that side?
I'll give you a different perspective. I practiced law as my first career. And when I retired, I got into the international communication, international exchange area. And out of that grew my interest in handicrafts, and I have just begun the effort to create a Tajik handicraft import business. And I'm expecting the first shipment to come in pieces over the next 2 weeks. Some of it is coming by suitcase shipping. We know someone who traveled to Tajikistan to visit family, bringing back some products with him. We have some products that are going to be shipped from Berlin that were left over from a Tajikistan handicraft exhibit last year or the year before. And then the balance will be shipped from Dushanbe. So I am at the very, very beginning of this effort. I'm 58 years old, so I don't know if I'll still be doing this at age 78. But I do know that New Mexico is a global center for the promotion of handmade crafts, quality handmade crafts. We have the International Folk Art Market in Santa Fe, which has been operating for what, 20 years now?
No, 11 years.
11 years. Each summer they bring about 150 artists from around the world. And one of the things we'll be doing is working with the artisan community in Tajikistan to try to get some artists into the 2016 folk art market. It's a competitive application market. And one of the things that I'm really focused on right at this very beginning point is creating an alternative shipping method. Right now we're having to use DHL, which is incredibly expensive, which makes it more difficult to market the products here. So one of the things that I'm personally very interested in is looking at opportunities to increase the shipping mechanisms, not only for handicraft, but other products that might be available from Tajikistan.
So just to put that in context, at the folk art market last year, of the 150 artists that participated, in 21 hours they generated $3 million US, which was shared amongst the 150 artists. That money then went back to their local community from all over the world. And so one of the questions, I want to broaden the question a little bit and say, really, in 20 years from now, we don't even know what the world economy is going to look like. And it's going to be shaped by many of the people, not only in this table and in this room and over there in your table, but also by people who have never thought that it was possible for them to participate in economic exchange. So maybe a question that I will ask in 20 years, what are the sort of things that make a business challenging to set up now? What do we think are going to be revolutionary steps that are going to change those challenges? I open that up.
That's an excellent question. That's a very good question for Tajikistan. There's a lot of changes that are taking place. Maybe someone would elaborate on that. What are the changes that are going to be taking place that will allow business to flourish here? Does anyone like to talk about that?
I think it's discussed for a few and 5 and 6 hours. It's a lot. I don't know, maybe.
What about transportation linkages to Tajikistan? The cost of the infrastructure being built now. Does anyone want to talk about that? The new airport terminal opening up, new flights opening up, new railways, new roads. No.
So, if you catch an idea regarding new terminal in airport, for sure this is let's say modern thing in Tajikistan, because today's airport can manage with more than 1 million passengers in one day. However, in the past, in the terminal number 2, the oldest one, they can manage with not more than 2,000 people. This is good changes.
Definitely. What other things are making business easier, or how will it transform the country over the next 20 years? Any ideas? Please.
Now Tajikistan is exported some raw materials to foreign countries such as for example, cotton. And our aim is maybe create here, build the factories and using rationally our resources for producing our product, and with the ready product, готовый продукт, we can use it as a domestic product, I think, not only as a raw materials.
Okay, definitely the value addition to the product chain. Any other thoughts?
Also, if we begin talking regarding the infrastructure, yeah, in Tajikistan, the highest changes that we built a lot of new buildings in the center part of Tajikistan, and not only.
Okay, sure.
You asked about changes, yeah?
Yeah.
Challenges.
Challenges and changes, and
what challenges? What should be easier without some challenge? Yeah.
Well, in which way do the challenge that exists now in Tajikistan, we've talked about a lot of them, the expense of money, for example, if you want to borrow money, how do these challenges that exist currently, how will they influence future change here?
Well, shipment is definitely a problem because we need to increase the number of products for export. And I want to return about the talk about that embroidery and handmade stuff that you were talking about, because I work as a volunteer in a company that makes Tajik traditional clothing and handicrafts. So we also meet this problem because the main customer is surely foreigner, because of the high quality and the high prices. It's not for the local people; it's for foreigners. And just for example, like about 10 years ago, the company exists for 40 years already, and about 10 years ago, they've been working about 70 women. Right now, there's just about 15 marginal women. So yeah, we need to increase the number of products for export. That would definitely help.
I'd like to. I think that there are going to be new models of business that start catching on that help people to start up businesses. For example, there's the microfinancing originated by Muhammad Yunus, where he lent small amounts of money to women to enable them to start up businesses. Another example is the micro-consignment model developed by Greg Van Kirk. And he enables people to be entrepreneurs by providing them goods that they can then bring back to their community. So I think that a lot of challenges will be alleviated by new models that could be in this realm.
Anybody else have a perspective? Change in 20 years?
Well, you mentioned the infrastructure and then the new business models. Of course, that opens up many new doors for other opportunities and diverse perspectives. It's definitely going to be a growing future and hopefully a promising one.
Do you feel, a question for the Tajik delegation, do you feel that you're going to be more connected to people outside of your country 20 years? I mean, your children, will they consider themselves more connected to people throughout the world? And what do you think that's going to do to business relationships throughout the world?
Okay, that's an excellent question. So connectivity, how will that change over the next 20 years? And how will that influence the next generation? Any thoughts?
They speak English now. What's the word? No.
That's a very good point. Did we hear that one?
Yeah. That's a very.
Do you want to stand up and elaborate on it? Yeah.
Now, good changes. People, it's the old people sit here Tajik, but speaking English. It's good to change into all. In Tajikistan, 2 years and many changes. People's mind, everything, because people wanted to live to 20 years ago. I think so. Tajikistan is USSR, but if people know sending to study for another countries thinks only study to Moscow is big. Now it's people want to study going to United States, England, wherever. But people changing every day. I think so. Guys sit here, students, and think every day. Think about changing in Dushanbe, my big city, and now in population Tajikistan every day is a big. 20 years ago, maybe the Tajikistan living in 3 million people. Yeah, now is 8 million. 8 years, 8 people living, 8 millions living, and every day people population is big and mind change, and I think so for future. And when you unite with
you will guess. It'll be unrecognizable.
Sorry, because I know it be difficult to talk to you. And у меня язык что-то переплетается.
Well, this is a very big point. I mean, what language did your parents learn?
My parents' language is Tajik.
Yeah, but they learned Russian as well.
Yeah, Russian, yes, use Russian. Now we use English.
And people use Chinese after
yeah, but I speak Chinese because,
yeah.
But this is an excellent point. I want to point out that we thank you for communicating with us in English. It is to our deficit that we don't speak Tajik. I think that's important. I think that we recognize that we're all richer when we speak other people's languages, and that we respect all of the bodies of knowledge that come from learning languages from different people. And maybe in 20 years, our children will think of their language as many different languages, and we'll all be polyglot.
Maybe. Or maybe 20 years from now, this conference will be held in Chinese. We don't know.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, I want to say that.
Oh, sorry. Could someone jump in here?
Yeah. I just hope that in less than 20 years, I'm able to take that awesome startup that you guys have of a trip to Tajikistan. That way I can understand. I love mountains, and I love Tajikistan is made up of many mountains. So hopefully that's my next saving.
Okay. Welcome.
So Tajikistan, I just have to say, it's really nice to see faces associated with the Facebook page, because I share your posts Tajikistan Facebook page.
So I heard about your Mexican transnational corporation. So how your government support these corporations?
Okay, so the question was about transnational corporations and how your government supports them.
They support them.
That's a tough question.
Tough question.
Maybe we can break that question down a little bit. So, in a lot of ways, the multinational and the transnational company is changing politics, not the other way around. Politics is not changing the transnational corporation. It's the other way around. Because more people travel as a result of these transnational companies, and so that it changes people's perspectives on their communities. Their communities become bigger. Their families become different and more complex. And so, in a lot of ways, your question is an excellent one, because it points out something that's changing in this century, is that those old institutions like nation states are only part of a bigger problem. There's complex communities all over the place, and part of them are being shaped by these transnational companies. So, for example, Coca-Cola in Mexico, when they purchased several entrepreneurs in Mexico in the mid-2000s. And the reason they did that, one of them is called and it was a big juice company, but they bought them and they created a partnership so that they could share their distribution network throughout Mexico. And so in the end, there are a lot of companies that are sharing some of the different aspects of what they produce and how they distribute that to people. And ultimately now, these workers don't see themselves is different from one another. And as a result of that, politics changes.
It's a very interesting point. What about this is something actually that's very relevant to this country. How are transnational corporations affecting Tajikistan? You know, the biggest investment ever in the history of this country just took place, the $3 billion pipeline by the Chinese. How will this affect things here in Tajikistan, do we think?
First of all, it's inflow of capital or inflow of foreign investment to our country, and spreading the employment places. What else? And stabilizing the economic activity of our country.
Sure.
I heard that the next year the Coca-Cola company is gonna open many factories in Tajikistan. So for sure, like they will, yeah, that will create more workplaces.
They already did it.
They already did it.
Yeah.
They joined Damchan.
That's gonna have a huge impact on the economy.
Sure.
I think like multinational corporations or enterprises investing in Tajikistan will also like eliminate the outages of the electricity and stuff like that. Will enable more like a resource itself, the energy crisis. I'm doing a project on it right now, so how it displaces different populations or people, and through investment, foreign investment in Tajikistan, that's going to eliminate that. It's going to grow the economy and I was stabilizing your economy more efficient.
So one of the things we're doing that Ron is mentioning is we're doing a study of how business is going to be impacted and how it impacts issues related to refugees. So we've taken the Syrian refugee crisis as the beginning of a discussion for how people who are displaced from their homes, how are they able to preserve their culture while at the same time make a living, and entrepreneurship becomes a very important aspect of that particular issue.
Certainly. Well, I think this is an issue that affects Tajikistan quite a lot. I mean, you have millions of Tajiks that have left the country, more as economic refugees rather. So how does entrepreneurship affect this? Why are you all here? Why haven't you gone to Russia to work or to Europe or somewhere else? Any thoughts on this? Come on, Azamat, what do you think about this?
I think if you can start your business here in Tajikistan, you can start your business everywhere, because starting business here is very difficult, because I don't know, 20 years ago we have a war here and a lot of problems. That's why, if I mean myself, I'm a patriot of my country. That's why I would like to, improve my knowledge and help to my country to be better.
To prosper.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm not going to Russia, for example, for making money, etc. That's why I think that's it.
Okay.
Marco?
Yes.
How said my colleague Azamat, we had a very problem and serious history, like 12 or 15, 20 years ago. And it was a time when we left our opportunities to grow and to be much better than more countries in Central Asia now. Because before this situation, Tajikistan was one of the fast-growing countries on USSR countries. And if I understand it, I know that now, like 200, 210, 214 is a new time when we started our way to be much better, to do life of our citizens much better. And we left our time. Yeah, we left our time, it's our mistake, it's a mistake of our history, but now we are in the right way and we can solve the problem. And I think that if you understand it, you should be involved in this like solving the problem. And I think that me and my colleagues and all these guys who's sitting here, understand it. And for us, it's like the opportunities to make our lives better, to make money, and to do something. Some people's life is better too.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting to be talking to people from Tajikistan. And now I'm thinking, what can be the people from Tajikistan have? Like, what kind of challenges are we having right now in terms of struggling for some kind of need? The reason why I'm asking this is because we identified that my product could solve a problem in Africa because I found out that they were having problems. And that's how I connected. So now that I'm talking with you, I want to know like what kind of challenges are you having in your country that you yourselves could solve or that someone here could help to solve for you?
Okay, that's a good question. The question is, he's talking about what products, how can the challenges in Tajikistan be solved from the side of New Mexico, or what kind of products or services or information can they offer you in order to do this, other than bringing money and investment in? Although, I don't know, what's the interest rate on a secured loan in the US? It's 25–30% here, so there we go. That's an opportunity.
Maybe the best support for us will be educational thing. For instance, in Tajikistan, even in Central Asia or Russia, educational is not in a professional way. But we heard that in United States and other European countries, the educational is in the highest level. And only thing that you can help us is exchange or give us the opportunity to study and come back and then share this information with the Tajik people. And also in period when we study in abroad, we can obtain information, culture, and another thing, positive things, yeah, which we can share in Tajikistan and improve and develop Tajikistan and society.
Improve our mental outlook, I think.
Actually, Tajiks don't need the money, we just need the informational support.
We should improve our mental outlook with exchanging experience with foreigners.
Okay. So there you go, it's information and knowledge.
We feel the same way. In addition to water, we need a lot of water back here.
On the subject of exchanges, I just wanted to let you know that we are actively working with the administration at the University of New Mexico and with contact in Tajikistan to try to establish some formal exchange relationship. So we are beginning that.
So we're also trying to create creative and cultural entrepreneurship internship. So people who want to preserve culture and at the same time do entrepreneurial ventures, that's one of the needs that people often identify is the preservation of culture through products.
Like that, the place she volunteers at.
Right, exactly. So many of the places that you work with, there's a cultural preservation component to that. We're actually going to try to create an internship, and maybe it's a possibility that we could have one or two of you join us as partners in being able to explore how to develop those entrepreneurial ventures. So we look forward to many between you and this university.
Excellent, thank you.
May I add something?
Yes, please.
I would like to add some information regarding our water. That's why the company Coca-Cola wants to open the company exactly in Tajikistan, because our water is the best in the world. It's the tastiest one. And believe me, they had a research and they opened the structure of our water, and also they tested by their substance, I don't know, which included the water in order to be the Coca-Cola, yeah? And the taste of Coca-Cola was the best one.
That's wonderful. That's fascinating. And it also makes me want to fly over there right now because I'm very thirsty.
Have a Coca-Cola.
Is access to water not a difficult?
No, we're very rich with water. We also use hydroelectrical stations like a power. And yeah, everywhere we have a fresh water. So we use our fresh water everywhere. Yeah, so now we're like, I want to save our water. We have a lot of water, but we want to save it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we use, yeah. But yeah, we're interested in maybe exporting our water because some Arabian countries, they're very interested because they are very limited in using water, fresh water, especially. But we have fresh water a lot. Everywhere you can just dragging the land, and everywhere will come out the water. Because of it, we don't build undergrounds, very deep underground, because a lot of water will fill all this underground.
And you should emphasize it's very tasty.
Yes.
It's not just the water, just the common water. This is good water with the
Very
high
good at
quality.
You could look into like that Fiji water, make a Tajikistan one, right?
There you go.
So delicious.
So a brand name, deluxe water.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Over here we pay $3 for a little bottle of water, which actually costs like 50 cents.
We will sell you for $2.
No, actually we can take it free. She's just joking.
First time, yeah.
For first it's free. You should taste it and then
you will buy it.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, are there any other questions that anybody has?
So I thought we should catch the question regarding the innovation society.
I think a lot of that came up already. So, but if you like, you can ask one, sure.
So I would like to add some information regarding social innovations and what is this totally, basically. Social innovation are new strategies, concept, ideas, and organization that meet the social needs of different elements, which can be from working condition and education to community development and health. In another word, what we do now, this is social innovation, because we cooperate with each other. And this cooperation, this meeting, it changed something, change our mind, change maybe in the smallest way, but it will be changes. And also we became to be community in the future. I hope so, that it will. And but finally, all of this, all the cooperation, changes, and community, it should be in order to care people, care the society. And I would like to say thank you that we are all together now, and we can talk about it. We can share the information between each other. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that seems like a natural point where we can call this a very good start. Yeah, so what we will do is we would love to share our experiences in the future. And so based on what we have, we're recording this information right now. And so what we'll do is hopefully we'll continue our discussion over a longer period of time, sharing with you more examples and very specific questions that will help us shape our common communities over the next few years. And look forward to that, because we've met new friends on the other side of the planet. And we thank you for that.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Thank you very
thank
much.
Also, we hope that next time we gonna speak in Tajik or Russian.
Only if we have an interpreter here.
We'll give it a shot. Let's try for it.
Okay, you should try. You should try as well as we did.
Definitely. You guys did phenomenally. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you guys that you had a conversation with us today, because as you foreigners, you had a new like a vision, different vision. You like transfer us your visions. We will find out new ideas to like create and open new businesses, maybe which will help to like develop our society, our social innovations. So, because of thanks to international organizations that work here in Tajikistan, NGOs, a lot of NGOs that help us to develop till from 90s till now 2014, more than 20 years. So yeah, our vision and our minds they changed. They changed very. You can see that you can see the changes in our Tajikistan. So yeah, thank you very much that you guys were here.
Thank you. We have one request from you. One request. So if you could work with Ilkam or with Marco, send us your name with a short description about yourself and your email address.
Also, we're using Facebook.
Yeah, but sometimes we have problems with our Facebook. It's sometimes
We don't have any problem. We don't have any problem.
Technical problems. Of course, we have technical problems everywhere. People can have technical problems. But yeah,
You can't say this in front of you can't say this in front of Tisa, you know.
Okay.
So with that information, though, that would be very helpful.
Support us with that.
Okay, we'll definitely do that. I'll collect everyone's email addresses and then I'll put us all in the loop.
Thank
Great.
you, Marco.
Thank you.
We enjoy it.
Sign off.
Enjoy talking.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good morning.
Okay. Before everyone leaves.